Okay, well, hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Emily, and with me on stage again are Erica and Chris. We are 3 of the 4-member team sent to Jakarta to work with Mercy Corps on their Cabal food cart program. I'm going to just give you a very high-level overview of what the situation is like on the ground, what the problem was, why Cabal exists, what the challenges were facing Cabal, and we're actually going to show you a little video that we culled together just to kind of give you a day-in-the-life experience of this project. And then I'm going to hand it off to Erica and Chris to talk about how we thought about solving their challenges and eventually what our final deliverables ended up being, along with our recommendation. So this is the big issue. 33% of children in Indonesia are malnourished under the age of 5. And this leads, of course, to the big question, why is this the case? Well, one of the reasons is this: food carts. They're everywhere. They're plentiful. They're very, very cheap. They serve primarily fried food and sugary sweets. That alone wouldn't be such a big deal, except for the fact that they're incredibly popular, especially in North Jakarta, whether because they lack the means to do so or they lack the time. Mothers simply don't cook that often for their children, and so it's very, very common that a child will get 1, if not multiple meals a day from food carts, including snacks. And so you can imagine that the accumulated effect of this over time is that they're missing out on nutrients and protein that they might otherwise get were they not eating such sugary sweets and fried food. And so Mercy Corps, realizing this as an opportunity, developed its Cabal food cart program. So what is that? Well, right now, currently on the ground, there are 4 food carts in the North Jakarta area, neighborhood, I guess. They serve healthy food that is nutritionally designed for children under 5. And essentially, they compete toe-to-toe with the unhealthy options that are out there. So what I want to do now is just give you a little video. I'm going to narrate it so you understand what's going on, but just to kind of give you a sense of, okay, what do the food cart look like? What does the clientele look like? What do the vendors look like? So here we go. So this is midnight. We are in North Jakarta heading to a food cart vendor's home, a Cabal food cart vendor. You can hear the call to prayer. Why are we there at midnight? We're there because this is when the Cabal food cart vendors start to cook. They will cook for 6 hours until 6 a.m. to make all the food for that day's sales. And as you can see, this is a really laborious manual process. They cut everything by hand. They're limited by their shelf space, their counter space, by the number of burners on their stove. Usually, this woman is actually our guide for the day, so she's not usually there to help this gentleman. But she's chopping. He put her to work. See, it takes a lot of time for him to make enough food to make his daily sales. And so this is actually one of the Cabal food carts. You can see it's brightly painted. And right there in the display case are the fruit jellies. This is the main snack item that they sell for children. The other main item that they sell is chicken porridge, which would sit in that pot right there. The reason they only sell 2 food items for the most part is that he simply does not have enough time to make a wide variety of menu options. But you can see that's the cart. And here's our clientele. They're very cute. Them and their moms. The moms typically become loyal repeat customers once they've had a chance to actually sample the Cabal product. They say we can tell, oh, it has more chicken and more coconut milk and more nutrients than, say, for example, the other chicken porridge we might buy on the streets, which is very good for Cabal. I think the moms tend to realize it's a good bargain, especially since the Cabal products are comparably priced to the competition. So it's sort of a question of getting the word out at this point. And Cabal works with the local government and health clinics to help promote their brand. And so here's the vendor. He'll make a daily route to try to hit all these loyal customers every day. Typically tends to be men selling because it's hard to push the cart. It gets heavy. And as you can see, as more and more people hear about it, it's a very popular product, and people really like it, and they like having a healthy option. The big problem is simply he doesn't have enough time to make enough quantity to meet demand. and so he'll sell out every day. And this is just an example of some of the promotional material in front of a health clinic. Again, this is actually one of the main ways that women or mothers hear about this, is either through the health clinics or word of mouth. But just to tie it back in, I mean, this is all about the kids and trying to give children healthy, nutritious options for food going forward. And we were really excited to have the opportunity to work on this. We think it's a great area for social enterprise, and we're just grateful for the opportunity. And we're happy to meet all the kids. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Erica, who's going to talk more about what we sort of envisioned as ways to help solve some of these problems.
Thank you. So Mercy Corps had really two goals for the project with Kedai Balai Taku. First goal, they want to see it spin out and stand alone as a for-profit business on its independent legs, separate from Mercy Corps, the nonprofit. And secondly, they want to see it grow. They want to see it scale up and expand. So how do they go from 4 carts that are operating right now in one neighborhood in northern Jakarta to carts all over Jakarta serving children throughout the city and really one day hopefully throughout Indonesia? How do they go from individual cook vendors who are working right now in their own home kitchens, often on the floor, by themselves from midnight to 6 a.m. every day, to a more scaled up production process that can actually meet the demand that we're seeing for this product? Well, there are really 2 critical ingredients to meet these 2 goals. First, we need to establish cooking centers. I think it's pretty clear to you by now that the cooks sell out every day. They don't have any more time. They can't possibly cook any more than they are right now. And they don't have the capacity to cook all of the menu items. Mercy Corps has actually developed about 12 different menu items, and they're only able to produce 2. So customers want those additional menu items. And so cooking centers seem like a clear and obvious way to help alleviate some of these capacity issues. The second issue is we need to develop a viable business model. We didn't know whether the business was profitable as it stood in terms of the pilot carts, and we also didn't know how it would be in terms of a scaled-up business. Would it make any money? And third, we didn't know what would be a good organizational structure. How would we actually set this business up? So those are the questions that we started out with. First, I'm going to talk about the organizational structure. Obviously, there are 3 main functions within this business. There are the vendors who sell the food. There are the cooking centers who are going to produce the food. And then there's a headquarters. And the headquarters is going to be responsible for protecting the brand, R&D, so developing additional menu items as those become necessary, and quality and safety control. So hygiene is another one of the critical pillars to this brand, and someone needs to be in charge of monitoring that constantly. So there are a lot of different ways that you could potentially organize these functions, and I'm going to talk about the 3 that we considered. First, obviously, they could all be under one roof. They could be employees of a single business called Cabal and just operate as a single business. Second option, vendors could be independent entrepreneurs. They could purchase food from cooking centers and then resell it and have their own P&L, be independent franchisees, essentially. Third option, this is the one that we actually chose. So let me tell you about that. We call it double franchise. In addition to having vendors be independent entrepreneurs, in this scenario, cooking centers are also independent entrepreneurs. Somebody who wanted to start a cooking center would pay a fee to the headquarters for the right to use the Cabal name as well as the menu items that have been developed. And they would sell food to vendors. But they would manage their own business, manage their own P&L. And vendors would continue to also manage their own business, buying food and reselling it.